Am I live? It says I'm live. I don't know. Maybe no one shows up. I've had that happen before. Like no one shows up, and it's like the most depressing thing ever. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is no one here? So it's quite possible. 17, 15. Seriously, no one's showing up. Oh wait, well, whatever. If you're here, then tell me what's up. Anyway, Dragon Ball Super. And by the way, I was robbed. No, I wasn't robbed. I'm still trying to get all that shit worked out, actually, and it's bugging me. Let's see. Hi, follow me on Twitter. Oh my gosh. What's up, guys? What's up? It's been a while since I've done a live stream, especially one on Facecam. Official drink of Dragon Ball Super, Topo Chico. The baker is live. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. That's going to be like one of the things that everyone remembers, right? Oh man. So what's up, everybody? How is everyone today? So excuse me, I'm a little brain dead. First and foremost, I've had a lot of midterms. I just got back from one, actually, and it's been a really weird couple of days, and I have to, after this, go over take-home midterm that is for a grade. It's like 10% of my grade, which is weird because like normally law schools don't act like this, but this semester it's happening because it's because the bar passage rates across the country have been going down pretty real low. And if you don't know what the bar is, just you go to law school, you get your degree, you get your JD, and then you have to take the bar in order to actually practice in whatever state. And some states do multi-state bar, which I think is kind of cool, but Texas doesn't do it. And we have our Texas State Bar, which covers things that other states don't cover. So that's why I'm also the class I need to actually work on tonight is payment systems, which I think 37 states in the United States have gotten rid of them, or gotten rid of payment systems as a necessary class for the bar. So it's tough. Like it's the UCC is tough. The Uniform Commercial Code basically really goes into contract law, but also like where money is and how you define money and how you define like money given to people and all this. Yeah, right. So I can delete his comment. Add me on Fortnite. We want a shirtless real eating bread. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm never gonna live that down, am I? So anyway, so yeah, I've had kind of a rough week, but hopefully it picks up because next week's going to be a lot less stressful than this. So I'm really excited for it. Anyway, how are you guys? Like, I know I kind of got off topic there, and that's why people were leaving. If you don't talk about Dragon Ball, people don't want to listen to. That's fine. So, guys, what are your thoughts on Perfected Ultra Instinct, the white-haired Goku? First of all, okay, I mentioned this in a video that D-Free and I did, and I just want to kind of get y'all's opinions on it. Maybe I shared it yesterday in the community tab. You can always go into D-Free's channel and watch it, but he basically came to me with an idea that was like, hey, is Dragon Ball Super ending prematurely, right? And I went on to this tangent at the very end, and I'm just going to share it here because, heck, I can. So one of the things that I thought going into this particular arc is we have the whole preliminary match set up, all of that stuff happen, right? Goku wants to go to see Zeno, wants the tournament, and then they come in, they recruit everyone. After they have the preliminary matches, they realize the depth and problem that this tournament presents to a lot of people, and they decide, okay, one of the things that we're going to do is get the best people that we possibly can. Majin Buu falls asleep, yada, yada, yada. They get Frieza. That's fine and good, right? And then they go to the tournament, which we all wanted them to go to the tournament, right? And they fought everyone, and obviously the whole Battle Royale thing was something that I think a lot of us wanted a little bit more from. And even if it did play out the exact same way it's playing out right now, I think you introduce these characters, you give shine to Universe 7, you have everyone in Universe 7 really break their limits, probably all but Frieza, but I'll get to that in a bit. And for anyone who's coming in, this is what I really wanted to happen, but because Dragon Ball Super is ending prematurely, we'll never get this, right? But you have Goku and Vegeta and Gohan, because he should have gotten more shine, maybe even Piccolo, but definitely all of them, and then also Kaba, Kale, Caulifla, maybe even Hit. You get to see what Jiren's all about. Even Topo kind of throws everything away to fight for this one particular cause. They all think the universe is going to get erased at the end of this tournament, and Frieza just kind of sits around. He's not doing anything. You know, he has this idea: I want to be the MVP. I want to get the wish at the end. This is what I'm going for, right? And so they all fight, and we get to see all these universes that have all these interesting techniques, right? And instead of playing out the way that it did, one of the things I would definitely do is play it out where Universe 7, Universe 11, Universe 6, at the very least, if not Universe 2 as well, twin universes of each other, probably the most fun. Maybe Universe 3, because Universe 3 is actually a cool universe too, but whittle everyone down to just a couple of opponents, you know, maybe Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta and Frieza, so like 4 from Universe 7, and then Jiren, Topo, and Dispo, so 3 from Universe 11, and then a couple from Universe 2, maybe the Yardratian and Suforian, because maybe at some point down the line, if they were ever going to continue it, they have to tell us why these people that are supposedly from Universe 7 and probably Universe 6 as well, somehow in Universe 2, never going to explain that. Like, why? Why even do it? And anyway, and then obviously you have Hit and Kaba and probably 2 of the Namekians, right? So you got 4 from Universe 6 and then whatever. And the Daishinkan, one of the Zenos, Zarama, whoever kicked the crap out of Jiren when he was younger, I don't know. Someone comes in and just hammers home the tournament. Or time runs out, right? Time runs out, everyone's beaten to hell, and for whatever reason, Frieza has been secretly, without ever seeing him, Frieza's been going around and kicking people off the entire tournament, you know, just making playthings of everyone, but doing it very stealthily, something that we're not really privy to as an audience. And then at the very end, they're like, hey, the tournament's over. We need to pick an MVP. It was a tie, but the person with the most eliminations is the person who actually gets the wish. And lo and behold, it's Frieza. Of course, like us, the audience, and everyone else who's watching in the show, it's really weird. It's like, we didn't see that guy do anything. Like, what was he doing? And then, like, we have these flashes of Frieza just taking off all these really small fries the entire time. Like, the vast majority of the freaking tournament, he's taken out, and he's let Goku and Vegeta and Gohan and Hit and all these other people take on the big fish in the sea while he was taking on the small fish. And he gets the wish, and Frieza's just like, hey, you know what? Boom. We don't really get to know what his wish is. Like, he whispers it, they talk in the God form, whatever, and it just reshapes the entire universe. It reshapes the entire Dragon Ball timeline, at least in that regard. And that really sets up the fact that the preliminaries, other things was a beginning, the tournament was the middle of the story, and then this is really just the ending of it. And the thing I like about this is it does kind of remind me of, I guess you could say this kind of reminds you of what they did in the original Dragon Ball days and some of the things they did in Dragon Ball Z, where you have like the Saiyan arc is the beginning portion, and then they go to Namek and they have this big old-fashioned search for the Dragon Balls, and then the last part is just this big epic battle between everyone who's left and Frieza, right? That's what I would do here. But you have recruitment, tournament, and then Frieza is the main big bad in the universe survival arc. And what I would do too is eventually say like, okay, Frieza wished to be like a god of destruction or something, and that way, even if it's the last arc in the series, you have Frieza. Showcasing the fact that he is a god of destruction now. He is the person who was the main focus in the 10-year time skip, even though it was time of peace. He causes lots of destruction across the universes using the cube or whatever. And at the end of all of this, they probably fix it with the Super Dragon Balls, kind of clearing up some of the inconsistencies between Dragon Ball Super's 10-year time skip and what they said at the end of Dragon Ball Z. And at the same time, you thematically close the book on Super with Goku going up against Beerus as a god of destruction and not being able to beat him, basically not even being able to touch him. And then Frieza, on the other hand, is a god of destruction at the end of it, and Goku's actually able to take him out. We get our third rematch with Frieza and Goku, and you tie everything else together that way. I would really like that, but like I said, that was more so of a tangent on D-Free's video, and I think I did a much better job explaining it there. But I'm going to get to the comments, actually. What's up, Real? I'm just glad Goku's finally shirtless. Looks like you're doing. Looks like you're going MJ. I have a Krillin problem myself. Let's see. I don't. You don't want to follow me. Mark, are you legend to love you? I would like to have. It would have been awesome if Hit, Khalifa, and Cabo was still in there and weren't eliminated. All right, I'm gonna skip. Well, I don't think everyone's really commenting. I miss the crap out of your live streams. Okay, so I don't normally do live streams as much as I probably should. They're really fun, by the way. I really like doing live streams. They're fun to just kind of sit around, get a chance to chill with you guys and have a nice day. So if you guys have explain what happened to the shelf. I got robbed. No, I said that earlier. I'm still trying to work out what I need to do with it, where I'm going to put it so I can actually drill it to the wall. And the problem with furniture these days, especially stuff that you put together, it's real flimsy as all hell. So if you don't nail it to the wall, then you have a really bad problem with things kind of toppling over and everything. So it just kind of got a little too top heavy, and it was going to at some point. So I need to go get a stud finder. And last time I remember doing this, because I can't find my old one, but last time I remember doing this, normally they're a good size, but they're teensy teensy in this house because it's super old. So hopefully fixing it soon. But yeah, it's kind of an eyesore now. It's like I wish I had more stuff on it. Back when I actually had all that stuff like basically filled up, I thought it was just kind of nice to look at. I haven't had like a way of displaying my movie collection for a really long time, and I really love having it out there so people and myself can see it and just kind of appreciate it, because why else have a collection if no one else is going to appreciate it, right? You have to keep it locked away in a closet. That's not fun. What's up with you, dude, lately? What's up with me? I mean, like I explained earlier, I've had a really rough week because of midterms and stuff, and I still have stuff to do for tonight. So I might keep this one a little bit short. I have a tendency to take these really long, but we'll see. Real to real, what do you think of Dragon Ball Super English dub? So I haven't watched. I haven't watched any of it really. So I've watched the Battle of Gods arc, and I really liked it up until some points. If you want more English dub breakdowns and analysis of the voice actors and stuff, then make sure to go check out the Frozen Particle. I know he's been having a whole lot of fun doing that stuff, and he's at least in my opinion, he's one of the better content creators. And if he found something that he thought is his niche, then I'm really excited for him because that stuff is kind of cool. But I haven't really watched it. Now I know that recently, and okay, there's a really weird situation here. I don't know why, and it always kind of pisses me off, right? But I go to my local, just maybe like 10, 20 minutes away, my local Best Buy. I was like, hey, I want like this, that, or like I want to just see, like, I'll browse around. I have a lot of fun browsing around. Does anyone else have a lot of fun just browsing around, just something they like to look at? You don't have to buy anything or something, but it's just like this cathartic meditation type of place where you're like, oh man, like I feel like I'm relaxing and I'm just having fun looking at all the different possibilities and stuff that I want for the future. And heck, maybe I'll buy something if it's cheap enough or something. Just going for fun. Anyway, so I go to the Best Buy. Best Buy is probably the only real chain besides maybe Fry's. I don't know how nationwide Fry's is. I know it's a thing in the South, but or Fry's, but Fry's is always too expensive, but they do have a better collection as opposed to all the other places. Best Buy is dwindling in terms of home video sales or department a lot. I remember when it used to be like multiple rows. It was like a huge part of the store, and now it's probably like 5, 6 shelves. The one I have near me is kind of cool because it's at least like 6, so you can just kind of go up and down those aisles as much as possible and just kind of getting an idea of the lay of the land. And sometimes they have good deals. Sometimes they add things around or change things over, or have these like old movies that they didn't have the other time. Anyway, when it comes to anime, though, they're never up to date, ever. It pisses me off to no end. Because if I want the Dragon Ball Super release when it first comes out, and this happened for the first one, Dragon Ball Super, the Blu-ray set 1 and the second one, they never had it. You have to wait for them like to get it within a week or 2 or 3, and the only way to get it is to go. And I don't know why this is true, but you have to go all the way, like another 10, 20 minutes out to a Walmart that has it. And this is the shittiest Walmart I've ever been to. I mean, I don't particularly like going to Walmart, but Walmart, this one in particular, this one is not very good in my opinion. So, all that to say is, I'm still waiting. I bet if I go tomorrow or something, they'll have the third box set of Dragon Ball Super, and I might get that because I really like the tournament arc, and I liked the Battle of Gods arc. I'm not a huge fan of the Fakatsu no F arc, and the more and more it actually gets re-released, and the further we get away from Dragon Ball Super actually airing from week to week, because that's going to be gone in a couple weeks now, I'm going to go back and watch it, and I will watch it in English dub. I know there's a lot of purists or a lot of people in this community recently who have decided that, oh man, I can't possibly watch Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or anything in English anymore. Oh, it's just dreadful. Well, I understand that. I've watched all of Dragon Ball Super in the subtitle form. I've watched most of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z in the sub form now, but it's still so much easier to watch it in English. I can just passively watch it. I can put it on. I can have it on right here. Like, I guess right here is the closest screen to me, but I can have it on like in the background was what I'm saying, and be able to actually understand and enjoy it without having to hyper focus on it. And when I have to read an entire series, especially a series that's like 700 plus episodes, like that's a lot of focus, and I'm not going to do it. I don't have time to do that, but that's up to you. Yeah, I browse so much on Amazon. Yo, what's up, Real? Do you know what is up with the dislikes on MJ's channel. Yeah, he's been getting hit with dislike bots. If you guys do this or know someone who does this, the dislike bot thing, don't do it. It only helps the channel that you're doing it on. Those videos actually do much better than they would have if you didn't hit it with dislike bots. So, I mean, I understand, but really most of the content creators who do anything go in and be like, hey, like, that's actually helping my channel. Thank you so much. And then like we get super happy about it. I mean, some people really take it to heart, which I guess is understandable, but it really doesn't matter. Plus, the dislike bot also encourages people who like the video and or like your content to not do it, like to like when they wouldn't have normally liked the video, because it's like, oh, what's up with that ratio? Like, and so it just drives it even further. You know, people can do what they want. I just don't think that it's advantageous to say, oh, I hate you so much that you create bots or accounts just to do that when all it is helping. Anyway, I feel sort of sad every time I pass a place that used to be a Blockbuster. I just see it as some cloth store or something. Bro, I have wasted so much time in Blockbuster in my life. I love Blockbuster. My last time at Blockbuster was going out of business. And I didn't buy anything. That was the thing. Like, I didn't buy anything because they don't really have it. They never had anything I wanted. You know, it's all just like used movies that I don't really want. It's like, we have 17 copies of Wedding Crashers. It's like, yeah, like I liked Wedding Crashers when it first came up, but I don't really want to buy it. I don't even care if it's like $4. It's like not my type of movie. So but regardless, it's like I was still walking around and looking. It was like, oh man, this is so awesome. And it's just that's part of the reason for the movie collection and the shelf and all that stuff. Is like, it does make me feel a little like I'm back at Blockbuster, and you can just kind of browse. And anyone who's come over and looked at it is like, oh, can I just look? And I was like, yeah, totally. Just like, you know, take your time. So they just go like, wow. The same way I used to do at Blockbuster, just like, ooh, what else could I find? And it was just big stores with just tons and tons of movies, and it just made me feel like a kid again, you know. I never dislike videos. I don't see the point. If I don't like a video, I stop watching. That's exactly what you should do, honestly. But some people like the idea of the downvote. I guess that's fine. Mark, you're a fucking dude. Respect yourself, bro. And Sloth, good to see you again. Okay, I am a fucking dude. I kind of respect myself, I guess. I don't know. That's a joke. They know who the person is disliking? No, they don't know. Who cares? Who cares who it is? One of the last 3 Blockbusters in the U.S. is still open about 3 hours away from me. Isn't there like one in? Aren't there multiple in Mexico? I think that's a thing. I'm not sure, but I think that's a thing. How do you watch Dragon Ball Super episode 129? So I get these questions sometimes. I just think it's like the strangest thing. Just Google it. It's really not that hard. Just Google. If you want to watch it, just Google it. I mean, I always say support the official release if at all possible. But if you can't, just Google it. It's easy enough to find. Get it, Mark. Who is your favorite villain? Mine is Kid Buu. Oh, my favorite villain in all of Dragon Ball, not just Super or Z or Dragon Ball or GT or even the games. If we're looking at like the overall scope, like everything that Dragon Ball has ever touched, movies, video games, and everything else, it's Toe and Mirror. I think, and I've been saying this for so long, it makes me mad that they never introduced Toba and Mira into Dragon Ball Super. Because I think, and people might disagree with me, but I think it would have been actually a lot more interesting to have Toa and Mira be the overarching cause or problem in the Goku Black arc or the Future Trunks arc than Goku Black and Zamasu. All you needed is that dual antagonizing force. I know you kind of throw away the mystery, but those people are so interesting, and I think that they can create an interesting perspective for the overall world of Dragon Ball. And I think one of the reasons they didn't do that is you would have to really reinterpret what the universe or what their storyline would be, because they really jumped off this idea of gods from other universes, the multiverse thing, to actually create Goku Black and introduce Zamasu. And I really think at some point they were kind of tripping over themselves, right? Because it really required them to rewrite the rules of their entire history or their entire timeline setup from Dragon Ball Z, which they did. And I think that that's probably one of the problems with that series is they really rewrote the entire setup with the I think the manga is even worse, with the connection between timelines and the time rings and the way that timelines are actually created and the time rings that are both the reality of the person who wears them, but then the green ones who are separate realities or separate timelines. When they showed us, like, okay, they implied really heavily in the manga and in the series that the time rings, the green ones, are not all from Trunks, which makes no sense. If you've been around in the community for a long time, you go in, just look up Quaman's old video about what happened, where the timelines are, and what we actually saw at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, or when Trunks actually came back, which a lot of people have talked about, and a lot of people have confirmed in one way or another. Danny always references that video. Even Team 4-Star talks about that being kind of the prevailing theory in some way, shape, or form. Theoretically, those 4 green timeline rings and the one that was clearly the one that was from the main timeline that Zamasu and or Black was wearing, everybody else, that was those should have all been from Trunks, and it is implied heavily that it's not. So I'm not sure what I'm not sure whether or not it would have been better or worse, but I think that you could have avoided that entire timeline mess up and still have Trunks come back and have Toa and Mira be from another universe and just kind of change your story that way. I think with the time rings, you really make things a lot more complicated than they actually have to be, when you could have just introduced characters from another universe in a different timeline who were able to create time travel or something like that. Plus, they're interesting characters. I mean, you got the muscle, you got the brains. I guess at some level, Zamasu and Black were like that, but they had to make Zamasu immortal in order to actually fight Goku, Vegeta, and I know Garlic Jr. was immortal, but he was never really a threat anyway. But probably because he was introduced in a movie, and also he was introduced so long ago that where they are now, like, there's no way that they just couldn't keep humbling Garlic Jr. into dust without breaking a sweat, you know? So, no, I think that I think that they could have avoided a whole lot of headaches and a whole lot of head scratches if they had done that. So I went on too much of a tangent on that. If series, I think my favorite antagonizing force has to be Cell. I like Cell's character a whole lot, but I think, and a lot of people really kind of sweep Boo under the rug. If you count Boo as one single entity, Fat Boo, Evil Boo, Skinny Boo, Super Boo, Boo Tinks, Boohan, Bookalo, Kid Boo, all of that is like one person or one antagonist instead of multiple, then Boo has a lot of layers to him. and not all just fat layers. So, I mean, it just I think that it's worth noting, at least in that sense. No, let's see. I got kind of behind. Do you hate cauliflower or kale? No. What's to hate? I mean, I think that they're great. Like I like the fact that we finally got some female Super Saiyans, and they gave them some appropriate shine. I mean, they were the hope of Universe 6, and they had to be beaten by UI Goku, and one of the sickest Kamehameha wave tricks that we've seen in the entire series. So no, I'm not mad at them. I don't hate them. I just don't think we ever got to see a whole lot from them that gave us any real indication that, oh, it's going to be better. Like, these guys are going to be better, or this character moment is actually going to pay off in some way. I think that was the biggest problem that they did, is they advanced them very quickly. And now that the series is ending, we know that there's no real payoff for that power increase. It was just power increase for power increase sake. And even when you look at it that way, it's still not that bad. I mean, Goku mastered Ultra Instinct in less than 48 minutes. That's really, really freaking bizarre. And you know, I think the difference there is we've seen Goku go through so much. We've seen him go as a kid being weaker than Yamcha, at least for a moment, to now mastering Ultra Instinct in less than 48 minutes. It's just like, after everything we've seen, it just doesn't make sense. It's a plot convenience out of most anything. You wouldn't imagine that Zenkais work that way, and Zenkais have never worked this way, and Goku's improvement has never worked this way. It's never gotten quicker. As I guess there's a way that you can explain. Yeah, it's gotten quicker as he's gotten older, but that's just a weird thing to say and or do or show or anything else like that. If there was some indication that, like, once you unlock the God power or something, you unlock this like limitless potential as opposed to who you were before, I could explain. I would love that, but I think it would explain a whole lot. But Kale and Caulifla getting as much power and being who they are as quickly as they did without us really knowing who they are or what the extent or peak of their potential is, like we do with Goku, or at least we thought we knew with Goku, feels like a lot less of an ass pull, in my opinion. So, I mean, take that what you will. I wish that they hadn't have done it like this. I wish he didn't master it. But because the series is ending and because they know they have to start wrapping things up, they have to give us a good ending. They decided to have him master it. It would have been cool if, you know, we saw glimpses of it and he was able to beat Jiren that way if he's going to beat him. But then, like, this is something that's going to periodically come back. It's not transformation. It's just something that Goku gets at the right time. But the way that they're handling it now makes it very clear that that's not how they're treating this. They're wanting it to be like this last form of his. And I'm just not really sure I'm okay with that. Long tangents today, guys. Long tangents. Only 10-second abs per episode and 990-second ads per episode. I thought thoughts on angels have a transformation with purple hair because they have purple eyes. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Kihokai told me, I thought that this was actually really interesting. I wanted to do a video about it at some point. Whether or not gods of destruction have transformations because Topo has a transformation. That's something they never explored. Would have been pretty cool. And obviously, I mean, there's a reason to believe that's true, because none of the other gods of transformation but we never got to see it, which is another thing that they should have given us at this point, or that they could have continued the story on just to. That's that's just beyond the point. I thought. Thoughts of a theory relating to the angels. Thanks for reminding me. Gail and Khalifa are cute. Timeline, no ads. It's free. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Sup? There should be more, way more. There should be more 12 timelines, 13 in the manga. Not really. I don't think that there should be more because you mean with what they kept doing? I'm not sure. Because it's possible, I believe the manga even says it's possible that once a time, it's weird. Like once, well, the manga's weirder, but once a time machine goes to a timeline, it gets kind of stuck in that timeline. You can't go further. You can't go back. It's like you're always going to go to that timeline. And the manga is really weird because it's like time moves linearly. So like if I'm in a timeline and I'm going straight and I diverge to go here, it moves linearly. So like, or I don't know. It's like, so this is a timeline. I don't know. Like you have a timeline and then you go back, but as this timeline moves forward, you can't go much further back than what you're doing this, but that doesn't add up with what Trunks did in Dragon Ball Z. So it's just like way all over the place. And it's really stupid, but they decided to do it, so it's fine. What are you planning on watching and talking about after Super? I know y'all still do Super, but anything else you'll talk about? I mean, it's up in the air at this point. Like, I want to do some My Hero Academia stuff, and I want to do a couple other things and talk about other things that that I'm excited for, or animes that I watch, or just shows. I'm probably going to also be putting a little bit more time into my second channel, in which I cover more television and movie stuff. I do a lot of Saw content over there. I do The Walking Dead. I do box office stuff when I can. American Horror Story. I'm a real horror fan, so I can't wait to. I can't wait for a lot of things coming out this year. I'm going to do a lot that I possibly can in order to grow that channel, and hopefully at some point that can become at least on par with this channel. But as opposed to Dragon Ball Super ending, I'm not overly worried, and I will be covering Dragon Ball Super still on this channel. It's just going to be a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. If you guys haven't already, go check out my Champ Boy video I did with my friend Sunset Swells, because I think that's probably the best video I've ever done. We worked really hard on it. It's a parody version of the Chainsmokers Sick Boy. And if you haven't seen it, you really should favorite it, share it out, because this is something that I would really like to show at least him, because he did the lyrics for it. I wrote the lyrics. We went over them together. He sang the song. I put together the video. He wants to do more of these, and so do I. But I wanted to show him that like it's actually worth it. Like if you guys like it, I want you guys to share it out and show the love, because if it's too much work for not the right reception, then I'm not sure he's going to be willing, or I'm going to be willing to do it in the future. And I'm having so much fun working with him, and we have a couple other songs in the works. I have one already written. It's for Topa. That's all I'm going to say. I have a lot of fun with it. So the Topa one's going to be hilarious. I hear the song that we're going to parody, and I sing the lyrics to myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, that's going to be so great. I can't wait for everyone to hear it. It's going to be much better than this one, because as much as everyone likes the Chainsmokers, I don't like the Chainsmokers. This is too repetitive. And that's one of the reasons we changed the lyrics up a whole lot. It wasn't going to be like that, but he insisted, because he's more into music than I mean. He insisted, he's like, look, this is just too repetitive. There's one reason people hate the Chainsmokers. And I was like, yeah, I hate it. Like I've been listening to this song on nonstop, and I'm like, I want to like just throw it out the window because it's just like not good. And hopefully we move past that a little bit, and we actually do songs where we can change it up. I'm working on a hit song right now, there's all this other stuff that I would like to do, but that's something I really, really want to do more of in the future. I hope you guys like that stuff, because like I said, we have a lot of fun making it. But which universe disappointed you the most? Universe 2. Like I said earlier, there's too much mystery with Universe 2, and they got too much shine to not give us the full breakdown as to why it was the way it was. The very fact that there's a Suforian or Tuffle, whatever you want to call it, and a Yardratian there pisses me off. It literally, like, there's no reason for it other than just Toriyama and Toriyama and Toritaro just ran out of ideas. And they're like, hey, just throw it, nobody cares. Well, you guys, I freaking care. Like, I don't know. There has to be some explanation there. And I remember everyone jumped down my throat on this, but I remember when we saw that Yardratian like a year ago almost, and I was like, is there a reason for this? And I did my whole breakdown as to what the Tournament of Power is actually about. And Universe 2 is way more important. And it was really kind of subtle because they were building up Universe 11 to be the big bads. But their twin universe is actually way more evil, even though they have this whole love perspective and all this other shit. So like it made, at least in my opinion, some people jump down my throat. Everyone jumps down my throat. But at least to me, it's like, oh man, that was the coolest dang thing ever. Like, I wanted that to be true so bad, that they were just doing all of this so they can catch the Yardratians, because they mess up the mortal levels on all the universes that they inhabit, because obviously they're in Universe 7, Universe 2. They shouldn't be able to do that, but Goku even says when he comes back from Dragon Ball Z days, after fighting Frieza and kind of crash landing on the planet, they're really nice. They had a lot of these weird techniques, but I only had enough time to actually learn the instantaneous movement. So, I mean, maybe we'll go see them again, but we never really saw much of them again. And maybe just going back with that one particular line and reaffirming that, yeah, these guys actually do mess up the mortal levels, because they come in to these really delicate ecosystems, because they also, because just a couple episodes before they introduced him, they were like, hey, Shin, how many people or living creatures or planets with life on them are in this universe? He's like, 28. And like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it does if the Yardratians make sense, or if they have some kind of relevance in the entire series, because it is this group of leechers who go to universe and mess up the mortal levels because it's a delicate ecosystem. And yes, I understand Universe 7 is just devastated by Frieza and Boo and all these other people, but that was a long time ago, or whatever. The Yardratians are slowly integrating themselves into every single universe, and that would have been my story. That would have been my story going into this. Like, they're not evil, but they're kind of just there. They're immigrants in all these universes. They don't really belong in any particular universe. And I would also kind of tie in the whole, okay, like, remember what we said in the Future Trunks arc where the Zenos, or at least the Zeno at the time, destroyed those other 6 universes because he was just kind of mad. Well, maybe that was the Yardratians. Maybe they were infecting the other 6 universes on top of the original 18, and he was like, well, I cannot control this. These guys kind of move and go. We can't even sense them. They can shield themselves from us or something like that. So just gone. They're all gone. And then like, you realize that they set up the Tournament of Power not just to have fun, but maybe the Grand Priest is sitting there going, man, we've noticed this like huge drop in mortal levels in these other like 8 universes as opposed to the other 12. What if we do this in order to take out the Yardratians? These guys are back. And you realize that they destroy the other 6 universes because of these parasites, and they move themselves into the other universes. So the threat and the reason that you explain that is gone, or those universes are gone, but the threat's still there. And so it becomes like this political kind of, I feel like it's timely, especially for the whole globalism versus nationalism debate that's happening world over. I know it's probably too heavy for a Dragon Ball show, but I think there would have been a lot of parallels there. As like, we should be accepting these people. Maybe they aren't so bad. Maybe just because they're there doesn't mean that they're really the reason of actually taking down the mortal levels. And then maybe sometime down the line, we realize that maybe it's something else that's also taking down the mortal levels, and we're just blaming it on these guys because they're in all these different universes that they shouldn't be in. Something like that. I know it's a tangent, but that's what I would have done. If I was in charge of this freaking story, that's how I would have continued it. But obviously, I'm not Toriyama, and everything Toriyama says is godsend, apparently. So, everything be damned. Okay. Best villain is Red Ribbon Army because Dragon Ball the best. No. I hate the Red Ribbon Army arc. I hate it so much. It is just Goku playing around. Tangent time. Another tangent. Early Dragon Ball. Now, 21st tournament, pretty fun, right? Mostly comical, but kind of fun. 22nd, Piccolo Daimao and Piccolo Jr., and the 23rd, that is the best arc of all of Dragon Ball. I mean, the 3 arcs into one major story, right? It makes a lot of sense. It flows really well, and it shows how much Goku's character grows in between that time. Before that, everything before fighting Ten Shinhan, or in that tournament, this 22nd tournament in general, is so far and away different and foreign to what Dragon Ball actually became, because I feel like even though, yes, it is well written and it's well displayed, or whatever you want to say, like presented, it's well presented, you kind of have to take the beginning of Dragon Ball and sequester it from everything, like everything after, everything up until that arc, the Red Ribbon Army arc. You have to kind of sequester it from being anything more than, I love this because this is what Dragon Ball, this is the iteration of Dragon Ball that I really like. I have a lot of fun watching Goku kind of playing around and being in beast mode this entire time, and no one can stand up to him. Yes, there's Mercenary Tao, and yes, there's other people that kind of give him trouble along the way. Master Roshi steps in here and fights him in the 21st tournament and all that jazz. But really, it's just a gag manga. The very first part is just a gag manga, and I can't get over that. Knowing what I know about what happens in the 22nd tournament, Piccolo Daimao, Piccolo Jr. in the 23rd, Raditz, Vegeta and Nappa, going to Namek, Frieza, Cell, androids, Boo, Beerus, Hit, all these other people. It really stands out as being something that doesn't belong, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with the greater scope or the greater cultural impact or anything else that Dragon Ball became, and it feels off. So yeah, if you like it because, like I said, it is well written, it's well presented, that's fine. But it's not, at least in my opinion, the best that Dragon Ball ever offered, because it's not the Dragon Ball that is Dragon Ball anymore. It's not like you can argue, oh, like that's what Dragon Ball was. Like that's what Dragon Ball was, sure. But obviously Dragon Ball is something completely different now. And it's what sells and it's what people actually like. So if you want to argue that, that's fine, but it's not a fact. So, I mean, just a thought. What are your thoughts on Zeno having the immature personality of a child in the present? They just introduced Zeno to be an outlet, a window, a blank vessel to explain what they think we should be getting from each in particular scene. So if they're happy, they're excited, they want to see more of Goku or something like that, that's what we as an audience are supposed to actually see. And it's weird, and it's also kind of meta and awesome that it's Zeno is like the most powerful thing in the multiverse, more powerful than Goku, more powerful than anything. And it's really them saying, at least in my opinion, the way I would interpret it is like, the fans are the most powerful thing. They're the things that drive Dragon Ball. So yeah, they might be immature. They might just want to see fights and battle and more transformations and all this other stuff. But they're at least respecting us. I don't think they're making fun of us. I think they're respecting the fan base, being like, hey, like we know that you guys are really like the bee's knees when it comes here. Like you're the people who really make this show move forward. And this is just our tribute. The way I would interpret it, I'm not sure if that's right, but just something to think about. Let's see. There are two cells: badass cell when winning the fight and bitch cell when losing a fight. That's true, but that's almost everybody in the show besides Goku. Everyone thinks that they have like an upper hand, and then they realize they don't, and so they get real pissy. All right, so why is YouTube notifying me about people liking my comments when they have never done this before? Only if someone comments on my thread. Sorry, off topic, LMAO. I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. How do you feel about Goku Blaku? Kevin's in here. I went on a tangent with that earlier. I don't like him. I don't like it. I'm not a huge fan of it. Right. Everyone loves you all the time. Thoughts on the angels having transformations? How far away am I? Ugh. So far behind. LMAO. I came back because duck work. Jesus Mungo. Man, shorter your answers. I just get in my little tangents. That's why I don't get to a whole lot. If I shorten my answers, I don't feel like I actually answer the question. So I'm sorry I don't get to all of them. That's my bad. It'd be interesting if there were millions and trillions of planets, living beings before the gods of destruction and Supreme Kai, where a thing and the Zenos killed trillions and make it easier. Keep track of them. Then they had God destruction to limit the help, develop the survivors. What's your favorite moment in all of Dragon Ball? Love your vids, by the way. I'm sorry, I did skip a ton of these. So if you guys had a question that like I obviously skipped, then just answer it again or throw it again. I'm only going to be doing this for a couple more minutes. My favorite moment in all of Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball in general. I don't want to say it's my favorite. I just want to kind of say, oh, yes, I do have a favorite. I've always had a favorite. There's a moment. I know a lot of people, or the way I just look at it, I think a lot of people don't watch Dragon Ball GT because there's a negative stigma to it, which makes sense. Like the first 13 episodes are garbage. They're so bad. Like you watch it like, why am I watching this? Like I cannot find anything good about this. And then it kind of picks up and it just kind of is meh and good and yada yada the whole way through. But there is an amazing moment in Dragon Ball, especially GT, where when everything builds on itself to the point where that's a great moment. It's not only the best moment in the series, it's also Vegeta's best moment. So Goku's done. Omega has pummeled him into the ground. Goku's done. That's where a lot of people think that Goku actually died, and the planet's going to explode. Yada yada yada. And Goku and they're all running away. Because they're like, oh man, like we just need to like get out of here because we can't beat this guy. And he obviously the destruction of the planet is not going to beat him. He's just going to destroy us, yada, yada, yada. So they're all trying to leave. And Vegeta just steps there and he's like, I've already had one planet blow up. It's like, I've already lost one planet. I can't lose this one. And he tells everyone, he just stops and he tells everyone, he's like, I'm going to go and buy you as much time as I possibly can. Trunks, take your mother, go to her spaceship and get to and get there, and leave. And Goten and Gohan is like, it's your job to finish the fight that your father couldn't. And then he freaking rushes back to fight Omega, right? And everyone else follows him. And it's just like, that is like the epitome of what Dragon Ball should be. That is like, all hope is lost. There's nowhere, we're not coming back from this, but we're not going to surrender. We're not going to leave. And the thing is, there's moments in the Tournament of Power where I feel like they get that across, especially with Vegeta. But really, I feel like they dropped the ball so much. I mean, when Goku went in Ultra Instinct, yeah, but they dropped the ball. Another great moment from Dragon Ball is, and this is a dub thing too, which is weird, but it is a dub thing. The most in the Dragon Ball Renaissance, the last kind of like 5 years or so, since 2013 when Battle of Gods came out, and then 2014 I think is when it actually came out, and the dub, and I think the dub is better. They're fighting in the canyon or the cave underground, and Goku loses his Super Saiyan God form, and Beerus is like, blah, 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 you know, you're fighting to live, and like, Goku just kind of gets surrounded by rocks, and he turns Super Saiyan, and then the Japanese dub, he's like, don't enjoy destruction, and he like turns into a Super Saiyan, blows up, and like the whole Flow song starts, which is an amazing song. But Sean Schimmel, I know he gets a lot of shit, but Sean Schimmel in the dub is like, I will not let you destroy my world, and it's like, boom, and it's like, and they all just like fly and just like punching. It's like, oh my god, that's so awesome. And like, watching that in theaters is like, oh my gosh, like I feel like a kid again. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball so much. And that thing, I got my love back. I was excited for Super. I was excited for Katsuno F and Xenoverse and all this other stuff just because of that line in the theater. It's like, that's amazing. Like, that's exactly what I want my Dragon Ball to be. Like, these big moments of emotional, gripping emotional tension, and these great transformations that feel genuine, and they move the story along and all that other stuff. It's amazing. Like, I absolutely love it. Oh man, I know my answers are so long. Oh man. As a lawyer, would you represent Goku in a lawsuit? No. He's negligent. When Trunks went into the new timeline, a new future, he also created a new present, a timeline where Black never showed up, and Goku and Vegeta did not battle him. What do you think happened in that timeline? Oh, you're right. I have no idea. I'm sorry. I can't go. Like, I can't even process that right now. But I agree. Would you like the Dragon Ball Super movie to be about future Trunks and Mai introduce a son for Trunks? See, Danny's also gone on this tangent with me before, and we did a video about it. Like, oh, I want the son of Trunks to be like Cable. But wasn't that Trunks? Like, wasn't Trunks Cable? Like, the son of two prominent characters in the series come back. No one knows who he is, and he's trying to save the future and that type of stuff. Like, it's pretty much Cable. Like, you want the son of Cable to be Cable. Anyway, no, I wouldn't mind it, but it's not what we're gonna get. I don't think that Dragon Ball is going to introduce Trunks anytime soon. Even though I think they only really introduced him because he's a big character. I don't know. Are you almost blind? Yeah, I have a bad vision. Have you heard about drama between Schimmel and Ocean Dub Goku voice actor? If so, what is your opinion on the matter? I don't really have an opinion on the matter, actually. It's just kind of shitty. Like, there shouldn't be any drama, and I wish there wasn't, but it's just kind of shitty. I still wish the Tournament of Power was set up like the Dark Tournament in Yu Yu Hakusho, so they could dine like 3 versus 3 or 5 versus 5. It would have been crazy. Sorry, I messed up the time. I messed up last time. Oh, I've argued this off and on for a long time now. That would have been the best option. It really would have. You could have done basically the exact same thing that the Tournament of Power or the Dark Tournament was with the Tournament of Power, and I don't think anyone would have batted an eye. I think a lot of people wanted that actually, where you would have to strategically put up fighters. Like you can still have 10. You don't need 5, but you can still have 10 and have to strategically put up like teams of fighters in order to fight people. So Gohan would sit there and he'd be like, I want like this person to fight and this person to fight. And maybe just like Frieza jumps in. And he's just like, I'll take all these people. And like, he just destroys everyone. Plus, like if you have 10, maybe you have 2 teams of 5. I don't really know how I would do it, but it would be cool to kind of drag it out a little bit longer. And then you would also be forced to show like Jiren's power. And it wouldn't just be like this, fine, I'll go, I guess. And he like takes out Kale, or he takes out Jiren, or Hit, or he takes out Goku or something. It's like, bro, like get excited, like be there for a reason. Even if he wasn't excited, if it was like his turn and he didn't have to go save anyone, it was just like, all right, I'll just go, whatever. And Toguro does the exact same thing in the Dark Tournament. He just shows up. He's like, your team's not going to fight us. He's like, no, I'm all that you need. And maybe like 20% of my power. Like he's able to take out people. And it's like, that was cool. Like now we have at least a visual sense of how strong this guy is. And he did it, maybe begrudgingly did it, but he still did it. And we know who his character is and the extent of his power and what he's capable of, because we've seen those people fight, or at least we think those people look menacing enough to actually go up against him. So it's like they really should have done a whole lot. Like, could you imagine like Universe 3 versus Universe 11 and Jiren just like jumps in there and he's like just Jiren and he takes out like the vast majority of the entire team or something, if it's 10 versus 10, or if it's 5, he like kind of takes out all 5 of them, and then they're like, oh man, what are we gonna do? Ani Raza. And like maybe that gives Jiren some trouble, and he's just like, all right, glowy punches, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh man, like that guy is like super strong, and he actually had someone to actually go up against him that Goku and probably everyone else on the sidelines were like, Nani? Like, oh my gosh, like that person's power is limitless, blah, blah, blah. Like, that type of shit. And it's like, okay, like that would have been nice to have. Like, it would have been better overall. The whole Tournament of Power, the Battle Royale thing is just Goku being allowed to take out everyone. That's really all they did with it, is like Goku took out every single universe that really mattered, or anything else like that. And I call foul. I feel like that's a complete waste of the entire premise. Oh, and it's also Goku's the only one who gets to team up with another teammate from another universe, a la Hit fighting Dispo, because of course Goku is the only other person who gets to team up with another person from another team from another universe to fight someone from another universe. Of course, in a battle royale, only Goku is allowed to do that. I call bull. Okay. What do you think of Kid, Trunks, and Goten will finally grow up in the next series? Do you think they'll have potential in the next story, in the next series? I do think that they're going to be growing up in the next series. If they do a next series and they're going to be growing up, and the kid portion will be taken over by Brawl and Pan. I think that's you listen to Danny, you listen to other people who watch Dragon Ball and all this other stuff and anime. They know that these shonens kind of need kids to be introduced, or at least part of it want to actually experience it and see themselves in this. So that's the whole point of the Zenos, and that's the whole point of Goten and Trunks, and that's the whole point of Pan and Brawl at some point, and Goku at the beginning. There always needs to be a kid element. So yeah. Is geekdom your brother? Favorite soundtrack of Super? I don't keep a track of that stuff, actually. My bad. Do you think Goku will give Oob the flying Nimbus? Well, he does, doesn't he? He does in the Kanzumon ending, I think. The newest ending of Dragon Ball Super, he gives it to him. So yeah, I mean, yeah, he'll give it to him. What do you think Kid Trunks and Goku? Oh, I already answered that. Imagine if Tournament Power, if you lose, your universe gets erased, including gods. But if you, in second, you are sent to a dimension of endless torture. That's really dark. That wouldn't happen in Dragon Ball. Not my Dragon Ball. And that's why Tagashi is genius, though he takes endless hiatuses. Yeah, he's a genius who also does it. Like, he should probably do. I know he has back problems, and that kind of he can't draw. He can't do all this other stuff that other people can do for their series. But I think he should just do what Toriyama does and create outlines. I think his outlines would be a lot more ingenious than Toriyama's, and they could kind of go off them and continue other stories if they were going to do that. That's what I would do. What do you think? Do you watch One Piece? I don't watch One Piece. I've seen. Okay, this will be my last little rant thing here. I'm gonna pack it up. But do I watch One Piece? The answer here is no, but there's an asterisk. I've watched the first 25 episodes of One Piece, and I have to say, and this is where unpopular opinion, guys, One Piece starts off amazingly. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so slow, but it gets better. One Piece to me, oh my gosh, like I was in love with it. Every character, everybody had a reason to be there. Luffy is just like the same thing as Goku, just someone who's endlessly charismatic and lovable. I hate the art. The art is weird. It's disturbing. I don't like looking at their faces, but it starts off really well. And a lot of people say like, oh, like One Piece starts off really crappy, but it like gets really good after like 100, 400 episodes or something, and then it gets really great. And then a lot of people would say, like Naruto starts off pretty slow, but it gets better pretty quickly. And then Bleach starts off really slow or really well. And it's like Naruto really slow for me. Like I can't get into that show. One Piece I really like. Bleach I finished. I really did like Bleach. It was like kind of my first foray back into like other animes besides that of Dragon Ball. And I had a lot of fun with that show. Although its endless filler sometimes is really, really wonky and not really needed. I think that they could go back and edit it down to a couple, like 100 episodes based on like what is actually canon from the manga and do it that way. And then at the same time, probably snip it down a little bit more or figure out a way to bring it back with movies or something to clear up the last arc of the manga. But the last arc of the manga was really rushed too, so it didn't really have a great ending. So I mean, maybe, but regardless, One Piece was cool. I really like the direction they're going there. A lot of people say that it only gets better. I have to say though, the animation, the art in that series is what really kind of keeps me away from it. Just can't really deal with it. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look visually appealing at all. Like his transformations, all this other stuff is like, it's just weird. And maybe if I get context for all this stuff, it stops looking weird. Or at some level, if I stop, if I get so invested with the characters and the story, then I stop seeing all this glaring weirdness in the way it's presented. But I doubt it. We can't end this on a One Piece thing. What if the next arc of the two Omni Kings have a disagreement and only Goku can help? Well, there's not going to be a next arc, which is the problem. But okay, Bleach Kai would be an amazing series. I agree. It was like one of the first videos I ever did. Goku versus Naruto 1v1 is Goku going. Goku takes Naruto within seconds. Like Naruto can't stand up to Goku. Is there any limit to the Super Dragon Ball any limit at the Super Dragon Balls? I guess 2. All right, so I'm going to condense these into 2. So I'm going to condense this. This is how I'm going to end it. What if the next arc are the 2 Omni Kings having a disagreement and Goku's the only one who can help, right? And also, is there a limit to the Super Dragon Balls? Now, another thing I would have done, I did a video on this, I don't know how many people watched it, but another thing I would have done, or would still do, they could still do this, and they don't even have to tell us that they did this. They just need to bring it back. Whenever they bring back the series, they can make this decision retroactively, because I'm of the opinion we're not going to see what the wish is. We're not going to know who had the wish. We're not going to know what the wish is. They're just going to jump to the ending. Everyone's going to be the Capsule Corp, and everyone's going to be like topsy-turvy. In fact, I don't think we're even going to know who the winner is. I think Goku and Jiren are going to probably have a moment, right? The time limit's going to go down. It's possible that Frieza decides to help Goku and he gets eliminated, whatever. But we're going to just jump to like a good ending, and then and then that will be it. But if I was going to do the wish, I would do this. Goku, Jiren, Vegeta, I don't care who. Someone gets the wish and they're like, hey, this was fun, but a lot of people had to die for this, and it's not really worth it, and that's not really right. So we're going to wish back all the universes, as we all know is going to happen, because they're not going to keep these places and these promises dead forever. Dragon Ball Super cannot be ending forever. I know it's ending, but there's no way that they're just going to end it forever. They have plans to bring it back, and in order to bring it back, they need to bring back some of these characters that they've introduced in this series, like Kaba and Caulifla and Kale and Hit, and maybe even people from Universe 2 or Universe 11 needs to be kept around. Maybe even bringing back Owasu. Champa and Vados are a must. And just the general scope of the thing. Vados is not gone. But anyway, they're like, hey, Super Dragon Balls, Grand Prix, bring back all these universes. And they're like, okay, I guess we did kind of give you whatever you wanted. So if that's what you want. And then they bring them back. And the Zenos being omnipotent are like, hey, that's not what we wanted. Like, we had fun, but you just kind of undermined us like every turn. No more Dragon Balls. Absolutely none. And so there's no Dragon Balls on Earth, and there's no Dragon Balls on Namek or Universe 6 Namek or even Super Dragon Balls. Or maybe you can have Super Dragon Balls because they're really hard to gather, and you still need a reason to call the series Dragon Ball. But no more Dragon Balls. You don't have that crutch anymore, and that's how we go into the next series. And that also explains Toriyama's edits to the original Dragon Ball Z ending, where he made it clear when the original ending, he said the Earth would be safe because of the Dragon Balls, to the Earth would be safe because of the strong fighters there, and that's why Goku decides to help Oob train. It's not just because he had a change of heart or he's grown out of it. He's like, look, we always have problems here, and I can't stay in my youth forever. Time is passing. I've also, I've gotten older. My children obviously don't want to be part of this. At least Gohan doesn't. So I need to keep this train going. So he realizes that he needs to train the next generation so they can train the next generation so they can keep people safe, and because they don't have that freaking crutch anymore. And another thing that it does is if they ever bring the Dragon Ball Super series back, or Dragon Ball in general, you have a reason to do a good old-fashioned Dragon Ball hunt, because it's not something that we've done or had the ability to do for a really long time. Ever since the Namek arc of Dragon Ball, it's always been super easy to find the Dragon Balls. I don't care if it's on Namek anymore. I don't care if it's on Earth, because those are super easy. Like, Bulma can just get them in secret and like put them on her cruise ship for a prize for a bingo tournament. Like, that's breaking the system. That wasn't what they were ever supposed to be. And the only reason it was really exciting back on Namek is because we had Gohan and Krillin and Bulma looking for the Dragon Balls. The Namekians are trying to help them. Frieza's killing everyone in his path, and Vegeta is just sneaking around trying to get everyone. It was really an awesome Mexican standoff there, and it was one of the best things about that arc. But we haven't had that for a really long time. And even in Dragon Ball Super, every time they use those Super Dragon Balls, it's super easy to get. Either Champa has most of them and then they just so happen to be fighting on one, or Zeno or Zarama, not Zarama, but Zamasu. There's a lot of Z names. Zamasu goes to Zeno and he's like, hey, like, you have to help me. Or Zuno. He's like, hey, you have to help me or I'm going to kill you. He's like, okay, you can find him here. And then the Zenos are just like, hey, these are going to be our prizes. So just grab them and throw them there. So like, it's just too easy, right? It's too easy to get these dang things and they are too powerful. So the best thing you can do with the ending of Dragon Ball Super is just negate the Dragon Balls, all of them. That is our cliffhanger ending. That would be the best ending for the series as a whole. Anyway, been talking for about an hour and 15 minutes. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's been super real. Hope everyone has a good night.